Dear students, I welcome you all to the BSc third semester. Today we are going to start the lessons. So first of all, I would like to tell you about the importance of gases. So today, without gas, we cannot lead our life. And also, wherever you go, so entire world is dependent on gas. So without gas, the life cannot be existed, I think. So wherever you go, so you can any field. So in many applications of gases can be seen in many fields. So in cooking or kitchen, so without gas we cannot make a food. And also in industrial purposes, and also in research laboratories, and also hydraulics. So and instrumentation. These are all working due to gases. Therefore, we need to study the importance of the gases. So first of all, so I would like to explain kinetic theory of gases. So it comes under the unit first. So therefore, the kinetic theory of gases we shall learn today. So first of all, so we would like to know the general features of kinetic theory of gases. According to kinetic theory of matter, every substance like solids, liquids, gases consists of a large number of particles called molecules. Molecules are the smallest particles of the substance which can be existed in free state, and also it has all the forms of the substance. Gas molecules are in rapid motion with increasing in temperature. So now I am going to list out the features of kinetic theory of gases. A gas is composed of first feature is a gas is composed of a large number of minute discrete particles called molecules. And again, second one is the molecules are considered to be rigid and perfectly elastic spheres and identical in all respects. And again, third feature is the molecules are in motion, they are colliding with each other. So, and therefore, their velocity increases in all directions. Therefore, their molecular mean density remains constant. That is, rho is equal to m by b, where m is the mass of the molecules and v is the volume in which the molecules are contained. Fourth one is the volume occupied by the gas molecules is negligibly small when compared to the total volume of the gas. And the fifth feature is the time of collision is negligibly small when compared to the time taken to traverse the mean free path. And sixth feature is the conjugative collisions between the two molecules is known as free path, and the average of all the free paths is known as mean free path. since the particles are elastic spheres and they won't lose the energy when collision with the container. So these are the 6 features of the kinetic theory of gases. Now we are going to derive an expression for pressure exerted by the gas. Pressure exerted by the gas molecules. Suppose there is a cubical box container in which number of particles can be confined along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. So x, y, z are the 3 coordinates mutually perpendicular to each other axis. So in a system there are number of particles are there, but we cannot examine the whole system of the particles. Therefore we will take only a cubical box in which number of particles are there. We can examine only a single molecule, that is C1 molecule. So here C1 is the root mean square, the total, that is velocity of the molecules. C1 is root mean square velocity of the molecules or RMS value of the molecules. So here, so there are the component velocities of the molecules is U1, V1 and W1. So here U1, W1, V1 and W1 are the component velocities of the molecules along the 3 mutually perpendicular coordinate axes. Here is U, here is V, here is W. Suppose the molecule U1 is collided to the face A, and the molecule on colliding to the face A, it will rebound. That means it comes back and it travels to the face B, and at the face B the molecule will again rebound to the face A. So therefore here where L is the length of the each sides of the box, therefore the total distance travelled by the molecule is 2L, because the molecule travelling in this way and comes back to the another phase B. Therefore, total distance travelled by the molecule is 2L. So here C1 square plus V1 U1 C1 square is equal to U1 square plus V1 square plus W1 square. This is equation number 1. Here initial momentum of the particle equals U1, final momentum of the particle minus U1. Minus sign is taken because it is moving in negative axis. Therefore, change in momentum of the molecule u1 minus into minus u1 equals 2u1. This is the total velocity of the particle, that is change in momentum of the particle per collision. So here the time taken by the molecule, that means the distance between the two consecutive collisions made by the particle is given by equals distance by velocity. Distance is equal to total distance is 2l divided by u1, where 2l is the total length moved by the particle and u1 is the velocity of the particle. Therefore, time taken by the particle is 2l by u1. Number of collisions made by the particle is given by, or number of impacts made by the particle is given by T equals 1 by T equals 1 by 2l divided by u1 equals u1 by 2l, or frequency of the collisions, we can say that u1 by 2l. Therefore, now the momentum of the particle, that is the rate of change of momentum of the particle, is directly proportional to the impressive force according to the Newton's second law. Rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the impressed force, is equal to the rate of change of momentum is equal to dt by dt is equal to f, that is change in momentum per collision into change in momentum per collision into number of impacts made by the particle. So that is equal to change in momentum is equal to 2l divided by u1 divided by 2l into change in momentum 2u1, 2 gets cancelled, into m, because force is equal to acceleration into mass. Therefore, m u1 square So this is the force which occurred for the single molecule. F equals m u1 square according to Newton's second law. Divided by m is also there. I forget, sorry. ml by u1 square. So So here F is equal to m u1 square divided by L. This is the total force which is required for the molecule along the x-axis. F1. And for second molecule is m u2 square divided by L. For third molecule F3 equals m u3 square divided by L. And so on. Therefore, total force exerted on the particle, this force is exerted on the particle is F1 plus F2 plus F3 and so on, Fn along the x-axis. Fx equals m divided by, we can substitute that equation here, m divided by L into u1 square plus u2 square plus u3 square and so on. Now, the pressure exerted by the particle is, we know that basic law is pressure is equal to force by area. Here area of the square is L square. Therefore, force is equal to total force. The force exerted on the particle along x-axis, Fx divided by A equals Fx is equal to m by L into L square. L square is the area of the square of the cube. So therefore, Px equals m by L cube into Fx. But Fx is equal to u1 square plus u2 square plus u3 square up to un square. N is the total number of particles in the system. So this force is along the x-axis. Another two sides of the phasors x, y, z. X, y, z along the y-axis and z-axis is given by Py equals m by L cube into V1 square plus V2 square plus V3 square up to Vn square. So Pz is equal to m by L cube into W1 square plus W2 square plus W3 square plus Wm square. Now the average pressure exerted on the particle is given by P average equals Px plus Py plus Pz divided by 3. So now we can substitute P average equals Px, Py, Pz. We can substitute instead of Px plus Py plus Pz. Therefore, we can take out common L cube in each term. Therefore, what is the remaining? u1 square plus u2 square plus u3 square up to plus v1 square plus v2 square plus v3 square plus w1 square plus w2 square plus w3 square plus up to un square plus vn square plus wn square. Divided by 3 is there. 3 L cube. But we know that L cube is equal to volume of the cube. Because V equals length into breadth into height. Therefore, L cube. Therefore, instead of L cube, we can substitute V. P average equals M by 3V. And but U1 square plus V1 square and again U1 square plus V1 square plus W1 square, we can rearrange this equation and plus U2 square plus V2 square plus W2 square and so on. UN square plus VN square plus WN square. That is equal to M by 3V into U1 square plus V1 square plus W1 square is equal to C1 square. Therefore, C1 square plus U2 square plus V2 square plus W2 square is equal to C2 square. C2 square plus C3 square plus up to Cn square. Isn't it? Then P average equals M by 3V into NC bar 2, because here NC bar 2 equals C1 square plus C2 square plus C3 square up to Cn square, where n represents the number of molecules contained in the system and C bar is known as the root mean square velocity of the molecule, therefore RMS velocity of the molecule. Now I am going to explain pressure, average pressure exerted by the gas particles M by 3V into N C bar 2. But Mn is equal to capital M, atomic weight of the molecule. Mn, where n is the number of particles per unit volume. Therefore, P average equals 1 by 3 M by V into C bar 2. But we know that rho is equal to M by V, mass per unit volume. So here, where M is the molecular weight of the gas per unit volume, that means density of the molecule. So therefore, P equals 1 by 3 rho C bar 2, or C bar equals C bar equals 3 3p by rho, 3p by square root of 3p by rho. So this is the pressure exerted by the gas molecules, where C bar represents the root mean square. C bar is equal to RMS velocity of the molecule, isn't it? Okay. What is rho? Rho is the density of the molecule. P is the pressure exerted by the gas in the system. So this equation can be used in future lessons. Deduction of perfect gas equation. Deduction of perfect gas equation. We know that P equals, so perfect gas, the gas laws which obeys Boyle's laws and Charles laws. So Boyle's laws and Charles laws, and these two laws can be combined to form the variables such as pressure, volume and temperature. Therefore, we know that according to kinetic theory of gases, P equals 1 by 3 m by v C bar 2. This is the pressure exerted by the gas molecules in the system. So we know that PV equals 1 by 3 m C bar 2. But for 1 mole of a gas at absolute temperature, the mean kinetic energy of the molecule is given by E bar is equal to 1 by 2 m C bar 2. But we know that m is equal to mn. M equals mn. Therefore, but the average kinetic energy of the particle is given by E bar equals 1 by 2 m C bar 2 is equal to 3 by 2 kT, where T is the absolute temperature of the gas and K is known as the Boltzmann's constant. T absolute temperature and K represents Boltzmann's constant. It's constant. I tell you about the Boltzmann's constant a little later. So here 1 by 2 m C bar 2 is equal to 3 by 2 kT. 3 by 2 kT. So here m is equal to molecular mass into number of particles. But PV is equal to 1 by 3 m C bar 2. But we know that m is equal to, we can substitute instead of capital M, mn. PV equals 1 by 3 n into m c bar 2. Therefore, now we can alter here 2 by 3 n into 1 by 2 m c bar 2. So here, but 1 by 2 m c bar 2 is equal to 3 by 2 kt we can write. Instead of 2 by 3 n into 3 by 2 kt. So 3 cancel, 2 gets cancelled. So what is the remaining? N kt. What is n? Total number of particles contained in the system. K is known as the Boltzmann's constant and T is the absolute temperature. Therefore, PV equals nkt. This is the perfect gas equation. This is known as perfect gas equation. PV is equal to RT. But R is Nk is equal to R. Nk equals R. Where N is nothing but Avogadro's number of molecules contained in the system. Therefore, K is known as the Boltzmann's constant. The product of Avogadro number and Boltzmann's constant give rise R. Give rise as R. Therefore, when R is known as, this is known for 1 mole of a gas. This is said to be 1 mole of a gas and is also known as universal gas constant. Its value comes out to be R equals 8.31 joules per mole per Kelvin. So, how this value can be obtained? I can explain how the universal gas constant can be obtained. So, in a system at a normal temperature pressure is given by volume of the gas is equal to 22.4 into 10 raised minus 3 meter cube and absolute temperature is equal to 273.15, that is difference is equal to 273 Kelvin, and also normal pressure of the gas or normal pressure is equal to 1.013 into 10 raised 5 Newton per meter square. Now we can substitute PV equals RT. PV is equal to RT. PV is equal to RT is the perfect gas equation. So now R is equal to, therefore R equals PV by T. T is equal to 1.013 into 10 raised 5 into volume 22.4 into 10 power minus 3 divided by 273 equals 8.31 joules per mole per Kelvin. So this is the gas constant which can be obtained by substituting all these values in the perfect gas equation. So, derivation of gas laws. So first of all, we are going to discuss about the derivation of gas laws. First, Boyle's law. Boyle's law. Boyle's law. So we know that according to kinetic theory of gases, P is equal to 1 by 3 m by v c bar 2. So we have derived this equation already. You have seen how we have got it. P is equal to 1 by 3 m by v m c bar 2. At constant temperature, PV is equal to 1 by 3 m c bar 2. So here 1 by 3 m c bar 2 is constant at constant temperature. Therefore, is directly proportional to T. That is constant into temperature. Where P is the absolute temperature. Therefore, here PV is equal to 1 by 3 m c bar 2 is constant, is directly proportional to T. Or PV is directly proportional to T. Therefore, P is V is equal to volume is directly proportional to 1 by T. So this law, this is known as Boyle's law, where if pressure increases, the volume decreases, or volume increases. So volume increases, pressure decreases. So this is known as Boyle's law. And then we can obtain Charles' law also. Charles' law states that second one is Charles' law. Charles' law states that the volume is directly proportional to absolute temperature. That is, from the kinetic theory of gases, P is equal to 1 by 3 m by v c bar 2. Or PV is equal to 1 by 3 m c bar 2. m c bar 2. So here m equals mn. We have written also m equals mn, Avogadro number. Where n is known as the Avogadro number of molecules, is nothing but n number of molecules. Okay. 1 mole of, that is 1 mole of gas contains n number of molecules, that is Avogadro number of molecules. PV is equal to 1 by 3 m n c bar 2 equals, as it is in this, so like this case we can obtain here. One by 3 Na into 2 by 3 1 by 2 m c bar. So we know that the average, this quantity is nothing but average kinetic energy of the molecule. That is equal to 3 by 2. Already So I have shown here already. Therefore, 2 by 3 Na into 3 by 2 K2. Where 2 gets cancelled, 3 gets cancelled. So Na K2. Where Na is the Avogadro number of molecules. That is, we know that the Avogadro number of molecules is given by Na is equal to 6.023 into 10 raised 23. 23 atoms or molecules per mole. Atoms or molecules, if there is atoms or molecules or electrons or protons or neutrons, whatever, Avogadro number of molecules per mole. So here K is known as the Boltzmann's constant, T is the absolute temperature. PV equals NaK, where NaK is equal to R because universal gas constant. Therefore, RT. And here V is directly proportional to T according to Charles' law. Because if volume increases, temperature also increases, or temperature increases, volume also increases. Therefore, V equals RT divided by T. Where pressure is constant. Here in Charles' law, pressure is constant. In Boyle's law, temperature is constant. And Regnard's law. Finally, Regnard's law. I am going to explain now Regnard's law. So in this law, Regnard states that pressure is directly proportional to the absolute temperature. According to the gas equation, perfect gas equation, PV equals RT, where P is known as the pressure exerted by the gas molecules, V is the volume occupied by the gas molecules, R is known as the universal gas constant, T is the absolute temperature. Therefore, P is directly proportional to T and P equals, T is directly proportional to P equals RT divided by V. And here volume is constant. Volume is constant. P equals RT. Therefore, P is directly proportional to constant. So these three laws are very important for discuss the gas laws. So today let us stop here. Tomorrow I am going to continue the rest of the topic. Thank you, one and all.